Welcome back, everybody. Meteorologist Hannah Sheehy is here with us to talk about the different types of lightning and what they mean, especially when we have severe weather possibly on the way for tomorrow.
Different types. Okay,
Yes.
this will be interesting.
So there's actually several types of different types of lightning. And Jeff, you actually gave me this idea because you and I were talking last week about a certain type of lightning that I was myself a little unfamiliar with, which was the bolt out of the blue lightning.
Yeah.
So I did do some research. We're going to talk about that as well. But there are several different types of cloud to ground lightning, cloud to cloud lightning, and there's many different types.
There's like, ground to cloud, and that always amazed me. How does that even happen?
I know, it's pretty rare and uncommon, but it can happen. It just has to do with the different charges in the cloud and the different charges on the ground, and if those line up, that can happen, ground to cloud. It is rare though, ground to cloud. You can see it in the bottom left corner of your screen. It is marked as rare. Some of the more common types, of course, are cloud to ground, which we see most common, but actually very common is the cloud to cloud or intra-cloud within the same cloud. They kind of just flash within the cloud, and you see this very often, but most times it does make it to the ground as well. Different charges also make different types of lightning more rare. Cloud to ground positive is a little bit more uncommon, which means the ground is positive and the cloud is negative, so it's flashing at a different rate than it would normally do. And then cloud to cloud would be one cloud, a cumulonimbus cloud, which is where lightning forms, to maybe a less cumulus cloud or a less degree of a cloud. That is a little bit more uncommon, but we do see it as well. I do want to mention, I think it's next. Here we go. Bolt from the blue. And this one is very rare. It doesn't happen too often. You probably wouldn't even kind of notice it looking at this picture, but the lightning bolt is coming out of the backside of the cumulonimbus cloud, which does not typically happen. And the most interesting thing about this bolt of lightning is that it actually travels. So it can travel up to 25 miles out within that cloud. Or outside the cloud, I should say, which makes that appearance that it's like kind of coming out of thin air. It's coming out of the blue sky or a dark sky. And I have some facts too listed here. So the lightning will travel out of the storm before it strikes the ground, again, which makes it seem like it's coming out of nowhere. The strikes can actually occur more than 25 miles from the storm, but most commonly it will occur 3 to 5 miles away from the storm. 25 miles, I can't even picture that, but it does happen. The moral of the story, though, with these rare and dangerous bolts of lightning is that if you hear thunder close enough, you are close enough to be struck by lightning. So if you hear thunder roar, you definitely want to head indoors. That is the most important thing. And the reason why this bolt of lightning is so dangerous compared to the other ones is because you almost can't see it coming, because the cloud can be very far away, up to 25 miles away. So you might not be even thinking that there's a storm near you, but a bolt of lightning can just flash, which makes it pretty scary. The good thing, though, is that those are pretty rare. A lot of the pictures that I found were from the 1900s. So I'm sure there have been reports, in the past few years of the bolt of blue, but I'll have to look into that a little bit further. I just wanted to throw this in there too, that the places that are that you're most likely to get struck by lightning is under a tree. Does that surprise any of you guys?
I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like maybe you would want to take cover under somewhere instead of just standing out in a field, but I guess it does make sense. Does it strike the tree and then if you're close by?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you are in a field, you would think like, I'm going to go to the tree line.
Yeah.
If you're going to do that, you definitely want to lay down almost like in a ditch, pretty much. You don't want to stand like just completely under the tree. You don't want to touch the tree at all. Also, because the tree, most likely, if you are in a field, is the tallest structure in that area. So it is more prone to be struck. And, a certain radius around that tree will also feel that lightning strike too.
It's almost like the opposite of what you think you should do.
Exactly.
Because I remember being out in a thunderstorm backpacking, and my buddy, we heard the thunder, and we see lightning around. It's like, what do we do? And I go, well, I was in Scouts, and I've done a lot of research on lightning. You don't want to know what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to go in an open field and like curl up in a ball, and be as small as possible.
Yep,
And
exactly.
they're like, are you kidding me?
Right. I know, it seems scary, but most likely there is something taller than you in the area that lightning will strike. So if you do lie down in a field, most likely it's going to hit a tree and not you.
Yeah, I just looked up miles, by the way. We're talking about like 25 miles. It would be like from our station right here in the north part of Portland, all the way up to just past Freeport.
Right.
For 25 miles for that lightning, right? They would have blue sky from here all the way to Freeport, and the lightning can still go that far.
Yeah, I know.
That's amazing.
It is amazing, and I had a lot of fun researching that because it's interesting that it comes out of the backside of the cumulonimbus cloud, which you typically don't see. You see lightning kind of in the heart of that cloud shape itself. So it comes out of the back, and that's, I think, why it's able to travel so much further, because you're not dealing with all the rain that's kind of set up in the front of that cloud. It can just travel for 25 miles at least.
That's insane.
Almost like a vehicle, almost like exhaust coming out of the back probably, right?
Yeah, yep, exactly like that. And yeah, that's the lightning
Wow,
for
I
you
love that
guys.
one, Hannah. That
But
was
the big
cool.
thing, when it roars,
Head indoors.
That's
right.
This is
Okay.
absolutely what you want to do. If you have any weather-related questions you'd like to ask, just scan the QR code on your screen and then click on Weather Authority. There you can leave us a question and you might see them answered on air.